A Star Podcast.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. It's so lovely to have you this morning. I feel
Thank
like my day has just become so much more amazing now that you're here.
Thank you. Mine too. Mine too.
I've been listening to your music nonstop and especially on repeat, A Labor of Love.
Oh,
It's
thank
just so amazing. Your life must be so hectic promoting the new single and going for all your shows. Are you excited as everyone else is? Because we've been waiting for a new single to come out.
It's so exciting. I mean, as a kid, this is what you dream of. Like, I fortunately had American Idol to
Yes.
catapult everything for me and jumpstart a beautiful and, you know, crazy career that was like up and down, but that gives you a story to tell and things to write about and experience to be had. And so, yeah, releasing Labor of Love, that song was actually, I did it like 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to finally release it, I know was just, I had loved this song for so long, and we had originally done it for other pop artists.
Right.
So yeah, so it was, just sitting and we're like, this song is so great. We just kept working on it and kept making it better and better.
Yes.
And I did the song with Jared Lee, who's another amazing artist, songwriter. He's done so many beautiful things. And it was just nice that he was like, you know what, let's just release it. And I was like, okay, I'm always down to release new music, but it's just the song was so precious to us. So we wanted to make sure we had, the right partners to do it with.
Yeah. You touched on life being sort of like a roller coaster ride, right?
Yeah.
But you've been such a good rider. You've just stayed on, like faced everything dead on, shows your strength. Um, American Idol, when you were participating, the mindset is like, I'm gonna be American Idol. Like that is a trophy. But you have surpassed a career that even an American Idol winner would have had. That's because you believed, and you had so many people who also believed in your talent and thought this cannot be the end. But when you got eliminated, that must have not been the thought process, right? You never probably expected this.
No, I thought so. My parents were there in the audience, and of course, I definitely wasn't expecting to go the night that I went.
Mhm.
Something felt off. I felt like, my time might be coming soon, but I didn't think it would be that soon. And then I was just like, wow, I came all this way, and I'm gonna have to go back home now, and struggle and do the demo work again. And then fortunately, Interscope signed me. I think it was like the next day.
Mhm.
And so I had all these beautiful opportunities, and
Yeah.
like we're so sheltered in this American Idol bubble that we don't really see what goes on. We're not watching the news because at that time they had just introduced Twitter and all these big social media platforms. So we were encouraged to engage, but also not get so involved, because if people are saying not nice things about you, it can also mess with your head. And so I did not expect the amount of support that I had gotten. And, that was such a huge blessing. But, right, it was like a year. It took me a really long time I mean, we actually never released an album with Interscope. I only released one single called This Time.
Uh-huh.
And I did. I remember fighting for my second single to be Heart Attack. That ended up being Demi
Oh,
Lovato's lead off
yes.
single. And then from there, I kind of, felt a lot of defeat. And I was like, gosh, doesn't matter if you have a record deal. Like, you can still get shelved. You can still,
Yeah.
like, we couldn't figure out what my genre would be. And and then I became a background singer for Jennifer Lopez. She kind of took me under her wing. It was
Wing,
supposed to be
yeah.
like one American Idol show that I was doing with her. Then it led to a promo tour, and then it led to her residency. And and that's what reconnected me with David Foster,
Yeah.
oddly. So it's just like a whole, it's all divine timing, I believe.
A divine timing, and without you even realizing, you were like, okay, you were born for this and you were actually ready. because
Yeah.
you took on each opportunity. You were like, okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Right.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't sometimes realize that they have that ability. It's a lot of like other people who see it. They're like, oh, this person's capable of doing this.
Yeah.
Um, you touched on Jennifer Lopez taking you under her wing during your time with her and also your time with David Foster separately. What are some things that you learned from them?
From Jennifer, work ethic. um you know, she would have, I would look at her and I'd be like, my gosh, how does she do so many different things? She's
Right.
like doing a movie right now. She's also preparing for her tour, learning all this choreography. She's a mom, a businesswoman. How does her brain handle all of it? And because I remember during that time I had to learn how to do more than like one or two things in a day, otherwise I'd get overwhelmed. So
Right.
I'd watch her and I'd be like, she stays so calm, and she knows, listen, I am capable, I am worthy, I can do all of this. And she just has this fire in her that, like, when I would be on stage with her, I'd be like, I want to be just like her, I want to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
I can, like, I'm a New York girl, like I have that fire. And so she just was such a force and such an inspiration to me. And then of course with David Foster, he would come to see the residency shows. And I reconnected with him at Jennifer Lopez's Christmas party because
Right.
I had met David right off of American Idol. And my story with him was not the dream story that I had prayed and hoped it would be. I had watched David Foster break so many artists on Oprah since I was a little kid. I
Yes.
written him fan mail, so many letters. I'd sent
Oh.
him tapes. Of course, they never got to him. So then, of course, American Idol opens all these doors, and he reaches out to my management for me to perform at Muhammad Ali's 70th birthday with him.
Okay.
And so I go to his house. Of course, this week I had gotten sick. I had laryngitis, had never had it before, and I didn't know what the recovery process was like. So I go to his house, but I was on vocal rest. I couldn't sing. But sure, and I was like, oh, I'll be fine by this week.
Yeah.
It's going to be no big deal. I'm not giving this opportunity up. Well, I guess I had like a very serious upper respiratory infection.
Infections.
So when we were flying to Kentucky, I like my ears clogged so bad I couldn't hear anything. And then I noticed like I was coughing so much I couldn't like
The
we get to sound
phlegm.
yeah, we get to soundtrack. From all the coughing and everything, I think I just like totally blew out my voice.
Oh
And
no.
I could not sing to save my life. Thank God that there was another singer there.
Wow.
And I don't think he understood really what was happening at that time. So he
The
never called
stress.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he had a show to put on. And then
Yeah.
the girl that he come like, has hyped up to perform can't deliver. So he didn't call me for like, I mean, he didn't call me ever after that. I mean, we had talked about him taking over my record deal before this situation, all this stuff. And he was like, this girl's overhyped. She's not good. I'm thinking that's what he's thinking in his mind.
Yeah.
So it took me actually becoming a background singer and being in a place that I thought, was going to be a different career choice for me, that I'd maybe stay more in the background now. It took
Right.
me going through that and singing at a Christmas party for Jennifer Lopez that forced me in this. When I saw him RSVP to that Christmas party, I was like, I'm not
Like,
going. I knew they were going to make me sing. That's how
yeah.
those parties are. And but I did prepare all of his Christmas songs, and that's what got me reconnected with David, was performing with him because they forced us to perform together
Yeah.
at Lopez's Christmas party, and that was my second chance. And to me, he's totally revived my career.
Wow.
Sorry,
That's
long-winded story, but
no. People need to hear this because sometimes when you think that everything's coming to an end, if you just keep continuing your craft, you just never know when the opportunity might come, and you just got to take it. And
well, you
like
have to be
everything,
prepared. So it's
yes,
always preparation meets opportunity, because even though I was a nervous wreck and I'm not a great singer when I'm nervous,
yes.
I was prepared, and I was like, I have to seize this opportunity. First of all, and then he played the song. It was Oh Holy Night. He played it 3 keys too high. He played it in Josh Groban's key, which is for a woman too high
Too
or too
high.
low if
Yeah.
you're going in octaves.
Yeah.
And then by the grace of God, I ended up hitting all the high notes. And he was like, all right, let's do this in the right key. Let's do it in Celine's key. We did it. And that is what like rekindled our relationship. And we've been working together ever since.
That's amazing. A song that is so, I don't know, each time I hear it, like something happens like to my body. I get like goosebumps and like I don't know what to do with myself. And I'm like, I feel like telling everybody, have you heard the song? Is No. I
Oh,
love that song so much because I feel like everybody, it's some place in their life, even if it's not in a relationship, in different circumstances, even in work or whatever it is, can connect to that song. What is the story behind that song? How did you come across this? Why did you want to present it? And like, how do you feel about that song?
well, I wrote it with Davey Nathan and Krista Youngs, and all of my sessions are like therapy sessions.
Yeah.
So I'm really particular with who I write with and work with because it has to be a really safe space for me to feel like I can open up and
Mhm.
not have all my business out there in the
You're
world.
right.
And they are that was one of my favorite writing sessions. It is my favorite song I've ever done.
Oh, okay,
Um
good. Yes, it's mine.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
I am so connected to that song, and I think if I do another album after this, just because I need people to hear that song,
Yeah.
I'm gonna re-release it. I don't
Yeah.
care, like because it's like that song is about fighting back against feeling silenced
Yeah.
by anyone, yourself. Like sometimes we shut our own selves up, and we're
Yes.
like, no, like or our own fears and you know insecurities stop us from speaking our minds and from speaking up, from protecting others, from protecting ourselves. And so we wrote that song actually while I was filming West Side, the
Oh,
Netflix show that I did.
yes.
And yeah, I was feeling very, just by the industry, by certain experiences I've had in my life, by certain men, I felt very oppressed and not
Suppressed.
oppressed,
Yeah.
like yeah, like but silenced.
Yes.
And and it's funny because during that time we were writing it, actually the Me Too movement was happening as well. And
Oh,
so a lot of people were finally speaking up and not afraid to fight back, and were not going to be silenced anymore. And that I was like, this is a message that I think is even bigger than what I meant it to be for.
mhm.
And we need to get this song out because I feel like it's going to impact or help somebody. I really want to do a video for it.
You should. You have to. You have to
Yeah,
do
I'm trying
that.
to get like, but I want it to be done in the right way.
Yes.
So of course I need some things to align, but
Yes.
yeah, that song is so special to me.
That song, when you're singing the song as a listener, I feel like I could feel every single time that you have felt silenced.
Yeah,
And even though we don't know what those instances are, the power of those instances are felt in that song.
yeah,
And my question to you is, moving away from just No, in all of your other songs as well, you're very well known for communicating the emotion of any song you undertake so effortlessly.
thank you.
But in your actual life, have you felt that you're at a point today where you can say that you have completely mastered not being silenced in all areas of your life, or are you still learning? Because
Yeah.
we sometimes feel like when we see stars out there that they have mastered it because they're like superhumans. But I would like to know, is this true?
No, I think it's still a work in progress for me. I've always been a people pleaser, and I try to adapt to everybody and make everybody happy, which has always been a struggle for me in finding myself and finding the music like that I wanted to make and the stories that I wanted to tell. Um, and just coexisting in life. There's so many things in our daily lives and crazy things happening in the world right now. And, I just try to, if something doesn't feel right for me in my gut,
Mm-hmm.
that I just go with that. I don't always speak up when I need to, but or when I want to, but when I need to, I'm like, if I just do this in a gentle way, or if I do it from a place of love and the intention is good, which I always, my intentions, I try to always make,
Yeah.
come from my heart, and they always have to be good intentions. But um, I feel like when your heart is in the right place, it is easier to speak up and voice your opinions and all that, but it's still definitely a work in progress for me. And it was a battle. And that's why I was like, I have to talk about this. I have to
Yeah.
write about this, because I did, like, I would silence my own self, or I felt like I'm not educated enough on this subject to talk about it. Or, you know, culturally too, we grow up in certain environments that
Of course.
where the women don't always speak up, and their opinions aren't welcomed. And
More
so for
conservative.
me, yeah. So I was like, no, now is my time. So that was my battle with myself, and my like redemption. Like, this is my time to use my voice, and
Yeah.
this is the message I want out there. And it's helped me become a little bit more brave, that's for sure.
Well, you have definitely claimed each moment and you're proving it through your work and all of your artistry. I wanted to know, a lot of people, success, they can say that success has not been easy because it's just hard work. It's not just like you reach a place, you got to keep going at it. What is a personal practice, like a good ethical code that you strictly maintain in your career that you believe by following this has assisted you in maintaining your success?
I think for me, I would always be like, when I get my record deal, I'll be happy. When I get X amount of money, then I'll be happy. When I'm on a billboard, then I'll be happy.
Right.
Well, I've achieved all those things, and happiness was not there, because
Mm-hmm.
happiness is within. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead, now I try to search for peace, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
like, listen, got a record deal, couldn't get my album out, like got X, Y, and Z. And it just like, those things don't equate to internal peace and happiness. That
Right.
comes with the self work, and that comes from within. I would say now my personal life is really in a beautiful place, but that came from also understanding who I was as a human, as a person, what, like, loving myself, because that was very hard to, I that was an internal battle for years. I mean, just everything from my physical appearance to my thoughts, and like, I didn't love myself. I didn't deem myself as worthy. And so once all that like started to fall into place, and spiritually, like, I had to um be okay with myself before I could open up my life to, listen, I'm still an independent artist. It's
Right.
not easy to release music. It's very, very challenging to get people to even find you on Spotify. And
Yeah.
so it's like, it could be a mental game all the time. And I will say sometimes it is taxing, and I'm like, gosh, sometimes this costs more money than is it even worth it? Like,
Right.
but like, songs like No may impact you. Or I have this girl, Anna, who's like, now she's actually become such a good friend of mine, where she tattooed Belong, which was my EP that I did a
Oh,
few years ago. She
yes.
tattooed that on her arm, because that EP helped her get through something. So it's more so, it's not the quantity. It's like how many. It's like, who are you helping through something really important, or people that are struggling in their lives, whether it's one person or millions and millions of people, you're still making an impact. So that
So
answer your question. I'm very long-winded.
no, 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 no. It totally did. It totally did. you're good. And it's important because I feel like each time you speak, you open up like the window to your soul. So people actually get to experience you. Because my brief communication cycle with you from the get-go, um, you really have me even currently asking myself, are you an actual person? Because we live in a very bot world, and it's so refreshing and endearing to know that good humanity and good humans exist within artists, because artists have the power to influence the world. And I think you touched on a point where you were saying you were not comfortable with yourself, but then you have millions of people in love with you. And we're as artists, we're so forgiving and we're so loving of others because we want to please them. That's the job of an artist. It's not very easy to forgive ourselves. Yeah. And I feel like you're at peace with yourself now and with the world, and it's showing. So I'm so glad that you're giving long-winded answers.
Thank you. It's so nice to do something like this again. And it's just like, it's really nice to have somebody that, actually listens to your music. And it seems like you do know my history and my story. And that's also so refreshing too, because sometimes these podcasts or interviews and they don't know, the interviewer doesn't know anything about you. So that means the world to me.
Because you just brought it up, because you said it's not about the quantity. And I feel like a lot of people, because of social media and media in general, they're like, but how many followers does the person have? How many streams does the person have? And they're not listening to what the product is. Like, what is the quality of the product that they're putting out there? What is it? It's really sad. But now I feel like when we talk about your beginning from American Idol to all the music you've put out and how you're going and dominating the world today, it's another thing now because you don't have privacy. Because the more you open up about yourself, the more I hate to use this term, but trending or viral you become. But it's hard because you are a public person and you want to keep some things for yourself. How do you strike that balance?
Well, I mean, it's tricky because I luckily am fortunate to have a lot more privacy now. Off of American Idol, I couldn't even sneeze. I remember one time I was sleeping on a plane, because
Right.
usually that was the only place I could sleep. Our schedules were so jam-packed and so busy. And somebody took a picture of me and I was like on the plane, and they posted it on Twitter, because back then
of
Twitter,
course it did. Yeah.
and I'm like, you really have to be so mindful, anything that you do, anything that you say. And I always try to like live life in a way that, like, not so much cautiously, but just very aware of like my thoughts that come out of my mouth, like the words that I speak, just to never hurt anybody's feelings, or, I try to live life in a pure way. But, I'm also a human being too, and I also make mistakes. But I think what now is my driving force is my partner, my boyfriend. He's got 5 kids.
Amazing.
Yes. So it's now not only what I do affects me, it also affects our family. Yeah. And I love them like my own. And I would never want them to be affected by something I said or did, or, being judged because of me. And I mean, that's just going to happen regardless. But I also try to live life in a way now that also protects their well-being, because it's not just about me anymore.
Yes.
So that's like, when we're out and stuff like that, it's like every now and then I'll get somebody that comes up to me. It's usually very positive, but it's just like I protect them now. I care about them. So it's like it just puts it in a different, perspective.
You've had your dad protect you and be there for you all of your life, and great family and great solid friends too. And now you're in a position with your partner that you are now taking the role of protecting and loving and being this source of love and caring and care for this family. Does this make you feel like you actually have already won in life? It's your turn now. Your chance of being a parent, seeing what it's like.
Yeah. Well, both, I have to say, both my mom and my dad have truly been the best parents, providers, caretakers. Like, they are just so loving and nurturing. And
Yeah,
actually, like, the roles have reversed now as they get older. I'm like, you guys are like my kids now. Because
right,
I'm like,
right.
I get so nervous, if God forbid, like when they came to see my show in Vegas, I was like, are you guys in your hotel room? Are you okay? Are you safe? And like, so for me, although I don't have biological kids of my own right now, I
Yes.
feel like I was born to be a mom. And
Yeah. Yeah,
I
you are. When you are extending that care and everything, it doesn't matter. You're still being a parent, you
it's
know.
like, those maternal instincts. I know some
Yeah,
people look at me and they're like, well, you don't have kids, so you wouldn't know. But like, I do think, women are born with this natural instinct, this maternal instinct. Like, I can see a little animal and like, oh my God, like that's a baby. That's like a little, like,
yeah,
and so for me, I really enjoy like not only being a friend to the kids, but being there as a source of just looking after them and making sure they're safe and they're okay and that they can open up to me and talk to me. And but my parents have, I do feel like I've won in that area because I've gotten the best care from not only my mom and dad, my sister, my grandparents, my aunts and
yeah,
uncles. And so I try to take whatever I learn from them and use that in my life. And so, I mean, I'm not always going to get it right. It's a tricky balance. Being kind of like a bonus in somebody in kids' lives. And you want to just, tread with caution that, you're always making the right choices with them and you're not being overbearing and I mean, sometimes I feel like so cringe, like, because I'm goofy. I'm really goofy and I'm like, I just like to have a good time. I like to joke around and be silly. And sometimes they're probably like, okay, Pia, like, but I mean, I guess that's what comes with, I used to look at my mom and dad that way and stuff like that. So I'm like, guys,
it makes it more fun and interesting.
yeah. And they are the best. Oh my God, they're the best kids in the world. Like, so I feel like I don't have a social life when I'm in Nashville because like when I come home from working and doing shows, you pour out so much energy. And when I come home, they fill my cup so much. Like
Yeah.
we have so much fun together. They are the most tight-knit, beautiful family. And we go out to dinners. I feel like they're my built-in friends, like, that I have to look after. And I love that role.
Aw. Well, Pia, it was such an amazing conversation with you. I loved having you on our podcast. And I just want to tell everyone, go right now, go on iTunes, go on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, follow Pia, follow all her new music. And I really hope we get to see you as well performing in Sri Lanka someday soon. Such an honor to have you. And thank you so much for being so gracious with your time. And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much for having me.